Shalom. Call halal, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathens that look like the heathens, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And I was watching the Epic Economist last couple videos. These are the two last ones. I don't think they've put out one today yet, but they usually put one out every day, every other day. And well, let me just go right to the scriptures. This is Habakkuk 2:1. And it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And the days of the end and the days of the collapse and the fall are actually upon us. They're here. All right? It's not something that's coming. It's something that's actually happening. And you got a good portion of the people that see it, and then you still have probably the majority of the people who are just have a complete delusional mindset that everything is going to be okay, when it clearly is not. So I'm going to let a few minutes of this video play, about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to bring out a couple scriptures, and then we're going to jump toward the end of the video, and I'll let a little bit of it play, and I'll bring out a few more scriptures. But the West is in trouble, and it's only going to get worse. And the way these people are panic buying the gas and damn near in riotous situations, there are going to be riots all over the country, just like that situation that happened in Chicago with all those teenagers running all crazy downtown Chicago, wilding out. That was set up. A police officer showed a video how he was getting sent videos from everywhere, and that was something that was happening all over the country in most major cities, and the media didn't cover it. It's because this was a planned inside thing. But let's let it play. Damn commercials. Get off my screen.
A new week begins, and U.S. motorists should brace for a wild ride. Several reports reveal that a panic-buying wave is hitting gas stations in the southeast as fears of shortages continue to rise in the region. At the same time, the Northeast is about to see the biggest increases at the pump in the coming days due to exceptionally low supplies. Nationwide, drivers are watching gasoline prices shoot up to 5-month highs. Industry specialists say oil production cuts are adding immense pressure on the market and causing inventory disruptions that will make the outlook even more painful for Americans this summer. That's what we're going to expose today. But before moving on, we kindly ask you to support our work with a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Gasoline prices continue to rise for a fourth consecutive week, with the national average reaching the highest level since November. Yesterday, the average price for gasoline jumped to $3.71 a gallon, rising by 10 cents from a week ago, according to Gas Buddy data compiled from more than 11 million individual price reports. The highest price for gasoline is now selling for $4.87 a gallon in California, while consumers are shelling out $4.76 a gallon in Hawaii and $4.52 in Arizona. In a couple of weeks, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, will start cutting the production of crude oil, which will impact global fuel reserves and result in further price hikes. Crude oil prices.
So basically, Saudi Arabia joining on to the BRICS countries gave the dollar the death blow. It was already dying. It gave it the death blow. And almost immediately, all right, it's barely 4 weeks later, you've seen increases in gas prices across the country.
Have significantly risen over the past month, and this may push the U.S. national average of gasoline prices to peak sooner than expected. With oil prices touching their highest level of 2023 at nearly $83 per barrel, the national average price of gasoline has continued to inch higher, with 45 of the nation's 50 states seeing prices rise over the last week, said Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis, GasBuddy, a Boston-based provider of retail fuel pricing information and data. While the rising price of oil is likely the largest factor in rising gas prices, seasonal impacts continue to also exert pressure on prices, he added. Right now, approximately 83% of gas stations in the U.S. have already run out of the cheaper winter blend. Refineries have already switched over to the pricier summer blend.
So that's just a scam, all right, to get more money out of the people. You best believe that, using pseudoscience, a winter blend and a summer blend, right? And then they try to justify it, and I'm sure they come up with some fancy words and some made up scientific studies and stats that, you know, that will prove their wrongdoing and try to justify it. This is 1 Timothy 6:20. And it reads, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. So they do a lot of things in the West, hiding behind pseudoscience. For those of you who don't know what the word pseudo means, it means false science, right? The word science simply means to know, all right? Something as simple as a mathematical equation of 2 + 2, we know that equals 4, all right? But now they'll try to use pseudoscience, and you may find this funny, but there are some people who will tell you that 2 + 2 = 5 and then show you the science to prove it. That's what you call pseudoscience, and that exists.
Can add roughly $1 to the national average, while some states are likely to see a $1.75 to $2 increase in the months ahead. The existence of summer gas
and see the and then it's just unrighteous decrees and wrongful doing that allow such activities to even happen and go on, all right? Because these oil companies were in bed, you know, with certain individuals that were benefiting from it and screwing over the people. But now that is coming to an end because the dollar is no longer connected to it. So you have to disconnect from the dollar and go to whatever the dominant system is, and that's going to screw a lot of Westerners out of this new hegemony which is being created, which is what's going to lead us into this third world war. All right, and it's gonna help, because the scriptures clearly say that the least of the flock, and those are the small hatters. So it's something that they're going to do, but this is definitely contributing to it and adding fuel to the fire. But this is Isaiah 10:1. And it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievances which they have prescribed. So that was a good idea to somebody. That was a wicked decree that was pushed forward. And you best believe that the people who lobbied to get that law passed and get that legislation passed all benefited from this difference between a summer blend and a winter blend. It's all wickedness, man, to rob the people.
And winter gas may be surprising for many people, but we have different plans because different weather conditions and temperatures change how gasoline behaves in an engine. For instance, in warmer weather, gasoline with higher levels of volatile compounds helps the fuel vaporize easier and produce fewer emissions that can harm the ozone.
And there it is. It's all connected to that climate change lie. All right. That's what it's all, because every time they screen climate change, you have some crazy, they've been saying that, and then you had them, those cold, extreme cold things that came right in the middle of all that climate change, which made them they got quiet for a while, But here, we're going to fast forward to like the 9-minute mark. Let's let it go from there. Freaking commercial. Pieces of shit. Shut up.
Relief in sight for fuel prices. And this is already having a major impact on the lives of millions of Americans. A new survey
Damn! You just... And watch they make that...
conducted by the polling company Gallup.
Guarantee you that one of those commercials will be the screensaver. All right? And it will not be the opening scene of the collapse. All right? When it says out of stock and the collapse of the U.S. has begun. Guarantee you it'll be one of those women in those colorful outfits. All right. So I don't think this was done by accident. This is some sort of algorithm. All right. They know when we're recording and all that. They have the technology to do these things. I'm surprised that they haven't even cut my camera off, because they often do that to me. I don't know if they do it to the other brothers, but they definitely do it to me often.
Found that 2/3 of Americans say skyrocketing gas prices are causing them financial hardship, one of the highest numbers since records began. The latest records have soared from the last time the question was asked in December. Back then, some 52% said they were feeling the pinch, with 14% describing their financial hardship as severe. The 67% of people experiencing hardship right now is among the highest levels Gallup has ever found when asking this question at other times of rising gas prices since 2000. The last time it was at this level was in May 2011, statisticians revealed. Gallup's Economic Confidence Index now stands at its lowest since the recession in 2009. The index, which is a summary of Americans' ratings of current economic conditions, has sunk 13 points over the past month to minus 58. The index has a theoretical range from plus 100 if all respondents describe the economy in positive terms and think it's improving, to minus 100 if all describe it in negative terms and think it's worsening. The minus 58 score is the lowest measure since a minus 64 reading from back in February 2009. Moreover, the survey also exposed that more than 6 in 10 Americans say the price of gas will cause them to drive less this summer than they initially intended.
Oh, yeah.
55% said the price of gas is forcing them to change their summer vacation plans.
Hey, well, it's not only that, the fuel prices for planes. So everything's going to go up. All right, because what you're going to see by this summer, probably by late June, July, you're going to see an average of probably $6 to $7 worth of gas. All right. Or it could even go higher. Because right now, barrels of oil are at $83, you're looking at almost $5. All right. In Chicago, some places it's $5 already. So I think the average in America is about $4.50 across the board, just about across the board. But in Chicago, you already got $5 gallons of gas. You're going to be looking at $6, $7. It gets to $6, $7 or higher than $7. You're talking about riots in the streets of America, because people people are gonna have to choose between making a payment on their car, buying food, or putting gas in it. All right, and they're not going to be able to do all of those things. All right, and it's going to cause shortages in every other way, and everything else is coming: the food, the water. As a matter of fact, let's grab 2 Ezra 6 and 22. And it reads, just like with the gas, food the same, but it reads, 2 Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So just like they're having gas shortages and panic buying down in the southeast, the same thing is going to happen in the northeast. And the northeast gas prices are going to increase probably first. But you got people panic buying in the south, which is and it's causing a problem, because people are going to get gas and there is none. Okay, I'll read that again. 2 Ezra 6:22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, and when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. It's more likely going to be those sirens, just like the siren, per example, in the Purge. You're going to hear those sirens go off. All right. And it's weird. About a year ago, I was coming out of a Sam's Club. I don't know if somebody was playing a joke, one of the employees, but over the speaker in the Sam's Club, that the siren from the Purge played 3 times, just like in the movie, and it freaked everybody out. Everybody had this dumbass look on their face. All right, but it says, verse 23, 2 Ezra 6:23, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time, friends shall fight one against another like enemies. And why? Because they're going to be, because of the lack of food, bread, water supplies. Okay? They shutting down Walmarts all over the country. They shut down 4 here in Chicago. All right? And one over there on 47th near the Brickyard on the edge of Judah and Issachar. For what I'm told, a bunch of Jake went up there and helped them shut down. They said, y'all shutting down anyway, so they just went and helped themselves to whatever was left in the store. They emptied it out. All right? Problem is people going to go to empty it out, and there's going to be other people in the parking lot waiting on them to take it off their hands. All right? There's going to be a lot of bloodshed and a lot of violence when we get to that time, and that time is close. The time is at hand. All right, let's finish the scripture and wrap this up. It says, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, so it's going to be a lack of water, bread, food, supplies, and violence is going to ensue. The strong are going to prey on the weak. All right, it's going to be a lot of bloodshed, a lot of kicking indoors, a lot of rape, robbery, and murder will ensue. The police are going to stay home for the most part to try and defend their own houses and families. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Karkadash, Wa, Abba, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.